What's up, guys? It's your Supah Playaz back at it again with another Market Watcher there with your host Tony G. And just like in the title, these are some must-buy secret rares that are relatively cheap. And honestly, there's a lot of them that are cheap right now. And I honestly recommend some of these. And I'm gonna be talking about some of the cards that were recently bought out, and you're gonna see what set just skyrocketed due to the reveals of the new cards coming out this next set. So stay tuned, and at the very end we have our giveaway winner that we're gonna announce. So like always, smash that like button, comment down below, and tell us what other cards we might have missed if in the next market watch, guys. So let's get into it. Since Shenron Corrupted by Darkness, another SCR that I think is relatively cheap and awesome to have, guys. I mean, it doesn't see a lot of competitive play, but as a collector and someone that relatively likes to play in the budget, this is a really affordable SCR that I want to talk about. Obviously, there's other yellow SCRs that I want to talk about, but due to the cards I want to mention, I won't be talking about all of them. But definitely check out the newest SCRs like the yellow Android Super 17. Very good card. Another card that it's sitting at like 30-40 bucks. I recommend people picking it up. And sorry I didn't get to talk about it, but this card's sitting at $70. A lot of these SCRs are relatively cheap right now. Of course, with the ban list happening very soon, I could see some of these cards going up in price. So if you're trying to collect them, and maybe the longevity of some of the games are going to go longer, some of these SCRs are going to be used. So I definitely recommend picking these up. Even if you're a collector, you're saving a lot of money, especially when these first came out. They were over $100 something, and the lowest price range for it is $71.22, and we're seeing a decline. So maybe after another week or two, it could potentially go down, or due to this video it might go up. I don't know. I'm so sorry if it does, but yeah, I recommend getting Since Shenron Corrupted by Darkness. Then we have Demigras Secretary, of course. Very awesome card if you're using Overrealm and you want to use a new type of deck, especially with the new support that came out. Demigras got a pretty good buff, and this relatively might work with Demigras, the old leader, so you could see a little bit more competitive play with her. And it's relatively cheap, guys. I think this is a good card to buy, especially with the new support that came out, overwhelming and stuff like that, and a better negate for black leaders to help yourself awaken. So I definitely recommend picking this card up. It's relatively cheap. You could probably splash into a Demigras deck from set 4, I believe. 47 being the cheapest, and obviously 68, and it slowly skyrockets little by little on the next pages. But it's also seen a very big decline since the past few months. Doesn't see a lot of competitive play, but like I said, with the ban list coming around the corner, you might see some decks prosper, and some of these SCRs might work. And if you don't have these, I think if you want to collect them, it's a good time to buy it. I mean, $47 for a secret rare, I'd buy one. And then we go on to the next one, is Heroines Lineage, another great staple. I think this is a very good budget card if you guys don't have it. If you guys can't get your hold of the new Pan SCR, I think this card is very awesome. Your opponent pretty much dumps their entire hand. If there happen to be a non-barrier low cost of 7 or less, you could steal their card, which is pretty awesome in my opinion, and does major damage. Very good card, so highly recommend picking this card up. Like I said, $34 for an SCR, awesome. And if you are playing in the competitive scene for the next season and you want to get the best, one of the best SCRs, I think Pan Time Patrol Maiden is one of the best ones to get. It's slowly going down. Obviously, we haven't seen all the reveals of the new SCRs, so potentially we could see a new black SCR, or we could see some other SCRs pretty much take its place. So who knows? So it's sitting at $220. Relatively the same price we saw it at last range, or last week or 2 weeks ago. Very good card. I think this is one of those staple cards you should have. Very good card, just like Hatchiyak. This card is just as good, and it's a black card for black leaders, so works really good. Hatchiyak getting its own card. And then we go on to the next one, another card that I want to mention that's skyrocketed. And if you guys haven't checked out what you think this might be, I'm actually gonna be talking about Vermilion Bloodline. This set just skyrocketed, guys. I mean, right now we saw it, this card was sitting at $220 at one point, and now it's at $279.99, or $265 being the cheapest. And obviously there's been a buyout of this card, even though there's been a reprint of version, or is it, I think what is it, version 2 or something like that, second edition I think it's called, and it's still relatively expensive, guys. I think with the new support, like what red leaders are going to be using, the new Goku could probably utilize this guy super well. And yeah, this guy's phenomenal. I think this guy is going to be seen in that deck a lot more than people think. And then obviously that card's so good. We have the next one we're going to be talking about is Piccolo Jr. We have the SR and the special rare edition of it. Look at this guy. He's sitting at 1999 SPR, and then super rare is sitting at 2693. Like I said, some of these cards are being bought out. Vermilion Bloodline is getting bought out. Like I said, there is a second edition of it, but it's still relatively expensive as well. So I wanted to talk about these guys. They've been bought out. There's not that many listings. So if you're holding on them and you want to sell them now or wait until these prices like fix itself and stabilize themselves, I think you could. Unless you want to make a quick buck, I think it's a good time to sell them right now if you really want to. And then we go on to the next card is King Piccolo Dimensional Conqueror. I mean, it's not a huge price increase, but it was sitting at $2 and got bought out again. Another SPR that got bought out. Very good cards that are coming out. This card works very well with certain archetypes and certain decks, and especially some decks that draw so much. It's insane. You're seeing some of these guys just come out and go up in price. Some of these guys. So obviously the special rare still relatively kind of cheap, but got bought out. So I mean, another card I want to mention, Vermilion Bloodline is being bought out right now, guys. Violent Rays, another, well, not this one, but it went from being a $13 card to almost $30 at this point, median. So it's getting expensive. The last few listings are 1998 and 27. It just goes up after that. So I mean, if you have them, sell them. But if you've been holding off and you bought them when they were relatively cheap, look at that. You just saved a bunch of money by switching to Geico. Just kidding. But like I said, another card that got pretty much like skyrocketing because of the new set. I think this card works very well in the new Goku deck that's coming out. And speaking of Goku, we have Son Goku Divine Presence, one of the cards that isn't from the Vermilion Bloodline set, but another card that's going up in price. We see it at 24, 30. I got bought out, guys. I mean, 50 bucks being the most expensive, and the last few listings are at 30 bucks, and after that it just goes to $50. So another card that is skyrocketing as well. So I mean, pretty nuts in my opinion. Like I said, that new Goku card, our leader, is phenomenal. I mean, I've been talking to people about it, and my team's been playtesting it, and it's pretty cool. I think it's very powerful. So if you guys haven't looked into it, definitely check it out. But it's going to be an expensive deck with all these price jumps. And then we go on to SSB Gogeta Technique Unchanged. We have the new blue leader that came out, which is the Vegeta. I think there's something going on with that leader. People are saying there's a mistake of it. But if you don't have this guy, you should have gotten it. It was relatively cheap, guys. $3. I don't even want to look at the SPR one yet, but I just might look for it. But I could just imagine that one just being as expensive, but it got bought out, guys. The last listing is $17 and $25.99 is the cheapest. Another card that got bought out. And another card that I wanted to, I'm telling you guys, Vermilion Bloodline is super hot fire right now. It's a hot commodity because of all these cool cards that just came out. And this card, another card that's been bought out. I'm just spreading the news to you guys. What cards have been bought out, and if you want to sell them, sell them. But if you want to help stabilize the market, you could definitely do it by putting it on TCG Player. And going into the last thing we're going to mention on this video is the giveaway winner. That's right, you read it in the title. And you guys been holding out and being patient by hearing my beautiful voice. And so now I want to hear that awesome drum roll from you guys from the back of your computer. Let's see who won that awesome gift collection box. So let's see. Random winner is going to be Joseph G. I want the Vegito cards. Well, you know, Joseph, hopefully you pull it in that gift box that you're going to be getting. So definitely comment. We're going to ping or pin your comment. Definitely reach out to us on supahplayaz@gmail.com with our email, or follow us on Instagram. And thank you for commenting, man. Let everyone know you just won your gift box. So congrats to you, man. I'm super happy that you won it. And stay tuned for the other giveaway announcement from C-Rod on when that magnificent, not a magnificent collection. What is the new set coming out? I forgot the name of it, but I don't remember the top of my head. But remember, you're gonna be getting. Oh no, it's the Magnificent Collection. Yeah, he'll be announcing it very soon. And if you guys aren't following us on Whatnot, follow us on Whatnot for those awesome auctions that C-Rod does. And Tony G will be doing, myself will be doing some because I have some stuff I want to get rid of. And relatively cheap, so definitely stay tuned. Subscribe on that in the description down below. And like always, y'all stay super.